I have never seen the crowd at a Trump rally as confused and as bored as the crowd was last night during Donald Trump's Montana rally, where his cognitive decline was on full display. Now, you guys have probably noticed it as well, but over these past 2 or 3 weeks, Donald Trump has become especially unhinged. Basically, since the day that VP Harris took the mantle and began running, Donald Trump has been declining. At the NABJ, he broke down on stage in front of some black journalists. A few days ago, he held a press conference where he was whining the entire time, and the cherry on top was this rally last night where I want you to watch his crowd throughout. I'll point it out. We can break down some of his racist attacks against VP Harris, his desperate struggle to find anything to attack VP Harris and Tim Walz on, also his obsession with attacking President Biden even though Biden isn't running. So in this first clip, Trump makes it very, very clear that he has nothing solid against VP Harris. He's genuinely just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Notice how desperate he sounds during this.
And send Tim Sheehy to the United States Senate. We're going to evict. We're going to evict crazy Kamala. Do you know, ever hear of Kamala? Radical left. Radical left. Well, she has a couple of things that a lot of people from Montana would like she wants to take away your guns. You like that, right? All right, how about this? She wants to defund the police. Are you okay with that?
He is really losing his spark, let me point out. I mean, in 2016, he did have a different level of energy than we see today on stage. He seems a lot more tired. He's slurring a lot more. He doesn't seem to have that oomph behind what he's saying.
She wants to allow millions of people to pour into our border through an invasion, using an invasion process. I don't think so.
Using an invasion process. He also seems a lot more mad and angry. He seems like an old grandpa who's lecturing their grandkids rather than somebody who's giving a speech to his supporters.
I think that's for you. It's not for me either. It's not for most people in this country. We're going to evict crazy Kamala, and we're going to...
He has nothing. They're so desperate to find anything to attack VP Harris on, because the reality is Kamala and Tim Walz are the normal people, and I think the electorate is starting to notice that, and notice that Donald Trump is the radical lunatic who's slurring his way through speeches and can't go 1 second without making some sort of racist or sexist remark. But in this next clip, this really highlights how much Trump struggled tonight, and I want you to pay close attention to the audience behind him. They don't seem like they are locked into what he's saying. They're actually struggling to pay attention to what he's saying. Most of them don't really care, and this is already after his crowd sizes have been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and the thing is, he gets so mad every time his crowd sizes are small. Take a look.
That's a few months now. The numbers are much worse. They've let an invasion of our country happen, but I took a look, and because I took that look, I mean, what are the chances of that? So I just want to thank everybody, because I'll tell you what, the level of love and compassion and all of the things that we all went through.
I don't even know what this dude's yapping about, but if you look in the background, like half of the people, this dude's texting on his phone. This dude's looking somewhere else. We have people that aren't even looking at Donald Trump because what he's saying is not engaging whatsoever. He is boring, repetitive. It's the same old stuff we've heard a million times. In this clip, he gets mad that we're calling him weird. He says, we're the opposite of weird.
And then he said, by the way, J.D. Vance is doing a phenomenal job.
Is he?
But then he said, well, think of that. Think of the things I just said. Then he said, you know, I think J.D. Vance is weird. You know, it's a word that they use. I think he calls me that too. No, we're not. We're very solid people. We want to have strong borders. We want to have good elections. We want to have low interest rates.
This dude is such a whiner. I have little cousins that don't whine as much as this grown-ass man.
We want to be able to buy a house. We want great education. We want strong borders. I think we're I think we're the opposite of weird. They're weird. You know what they do? They work with the press on coming up with a soundbite, just a soundbite. And every station that night, all the networks, CBS, and ABC, NBC, they all said, oh, they were called weird. It's unbelievable. You know, it's not a word that's really used too much in politics, but It's a terrible thing that they can do this.
That's a terrible thing. Not the attempted insurrection, not the fact that you come up with nicknames all the time, but we call you weird. One time, we call you weird, come up with one nickname, and Donald Trump is malfunctioning. He's been talking about this for 60 seconds on stage, just rambling about how he's not weird. We're the weird ones. They're the weird ones. It reminds me of that phrase, if you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. That is Donald Trump right now. I mean, since the moment he stepped foot into American politics, he ratcheted up the tensions, and then now that those tensions are coming back around to hit him, now that he's being called nicknames, he's being shot at rallies, it seems like he cannot handle the heat. This is the world that he created. This is the political landscape that he manufactured so intentionally through his bombastic rhetoric, and now he can't handle it. He's about to melt down on stage because we called him weird. Just the word weird, which actually shows that all of these people who study authoritarians and say that authoritarians hate more than anything to be called weird and made fun of, that is actually really true. Donald Trump is showing that in real time. Here is him polling the crowd in Montana on what he should call Joe Biden.
That's correct. I think Crooked Joe is more correct than say. You're like, all right, ready? Crooked first, right? What do you like better? Crooked Joe? Or Sleepy Joe?
It seems like they like Sleepy Joe more, but keep in mind, Donald Trump is not running against Joe Biden at all. Why is he not doing this with Kamala? I'm not going to give him any advice, though. This is a clip of Donald Trump just begging desperately for Biden to come back into the race. It's almost like a love story between Donald Trump and Joe Biden now.
Couldn't beat me now. I mean, after the debate, he was down, way down in the polls. They didn't even want to show the polls. They said he's not going to win. So they said, we're going to take him out and we're going to put somebody new in. This never happened to anybody before. We spent $100 million fighting Crooked Joe Biden, and then all of a sudden they decide to take him out and put somebody else in. She never got one vote. She was the first loser in the primaries. You know, she ran against Joe Biden and everybody else. I think they had like 16 people running. She never made Iowa the first state. I love Iowa. You know why I love it? Because I win it every single time with the farmers.
Keep in mind, Donald Trump did lose the Iowa caucuses in 2016, but this is the equivalent of Donald Trump standing outside of the White House with a boombox saying, please come back, Biden, we want you.
But she never made Iowa. She was the first one to quit. And now, and stupid, honestly, she was the nastiest to him, too, and then he picked her. I couldn't believe it. And she was part of the cabal that got him out. You know, they got him out.
So I know this is obvious, but Donald Trump is actually losing his mind with every rally that he gives. In the last few weeks, it really seems like it's more visible than it has been before. I mean, ever since the National Association of Black Journalists, where he absolutely melted down on stage, he has further slid in the polls. And as he's slid in the polls, it seems like his mind is also slipped at the same time. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you appreciate what I do, all that I ask is that you leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.